happening? Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody? Yeah, I missed out yesterday. there was problems, shall we say. Wasn't good, but today I really want to get on with working with Laravel Broadcasting. It's a lot of fun. So, I guess. Oh, I just literally this morning recompiled chat code so it works on this version of the IE. So, hopefully that will work. Hello, Modestus. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in ages. So, I think chat codes should work, right? Do we have. So, this should now work. Apparently, I've broken my music, which is not like the end of the world, I don't think. Oh, no, there is no music on this scene. That's fine. So we should be able to add the comment, right? Line 11. That's working. And if you haven't seen chat codes before, it allows you to interact with my ID directly from Twitch chat, which I love. And then we could put comments on a line, right? So a comment on line 11. This is stupid. Yep, that's working. Awesome. And then we can put a tooltip on line 11, which is my favorite. I think I might disable tooltip on line 11. Hello, everybody. Yeah, okay, cool. So chat codes is working. So feel free to interact with my IDE direct from chat, which is kind of scary, but it's all good. It's all good. And who do I see there hanging out in chat? It's Layla Codesit. How you doing, Layla? So good to see you. I'm streaming again, and that's kind of scary. Modesta's doing fine. Busy with work as ever. Big clients, lots of movement, and yeah, it's been ages. It has been ages, but I am having fun with streaming again. So, well, I guess the first thing we should do is to catch everyone up for everybody who wasn't here last Tuesday. I feel like it was last Tuesday we streamed last. You're peaking at a conference today, followed by 2 streams. I'm guessing you're speaking at a conference, but I'm gonna let you off that one. That's fine. And yeah, happy 374th of December 2022. I agree. Okay, let me remember to do this. Layla codes it. That should say something again, Lail. That should have worked, right? Yeah, you should have a little sword now by your name. Yeah, you're speaking at a conference and then 2 streams. That's pretty insane. So what I wanted to, there you go, that's better. What I wanted to be able to do is to update the front end of an application, right? But do it from within PHP. I'd be really interested to hear Layla's opinion on this, actually, as a .NET developer. I think this kind of web hook, not web hooks, web sockets stuff is like quite built into .NET MVC, but in Laravel there's this concept of a broadcaster where you can broadcast events to the front end and update the front end accordingly. So what we've got is this React app that has, let's take a look here, let's remind ourselves what's happening. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Example.js. We've got this React app, right, that essentially uses Echo, which is a Laravel package, to listen for events on this channel, which is the name of one of my regular viewers who we used while we were coding it. And then we've got this event. This is a Laravel event, and I'll show you the file, called Something Cool Happens, and we just set the state to be the data. And then if we have data, we just render out what's in this event, essentially. And if we look at the event, which is Something Cool Happens, so this is a Laravel event, yeah? It implements should broadcast, so we can broadcast this event. So this class Something Cool Happens is dispatchable. We use this trait to make it dispatchable. And then we say, okay, broadcast on this channel and broadcast with this array of people. And we just pull all of these people out of the database. So if we look at the database seeder, we can add a couple more people in. These were people who were hanging out last week. So let's update this. In fact, I think there's a better way to do this. We agreed last time, where I can just go like, boop, and just like add an array of arrays, because it's PHP and we're big fans of arrays, right? This is normal behavior for us. So then we can say, like, who else do we have here? We have name. So this is just a database table. Modestas V. And then, so we can just add, why is this not lining up? This is really annoying me. Name, Layla codes it. Indeed, Layla does code it and codes it well. And why isn't Craig Simps in here? Craig's been here last week. And so now if I do a PHP artisan DB seed, we should update our database, which is nice. Artisan DB seed, we should get all these other people added in. And then if we run the command, so we've just got a command that dispatches this event. Sorry, I'm reminding myself as well as reminding you, so don't be scared if I'm confusing you, because I'm confusing myself. So this is just a command line command which dispatches that event, right? So what I would expect to happen is when we dispatch this event, because this event implements should broadcast, it will broadcast to Pusher, which is a third-party resource that I found out since is owned by MessageBird, a competitor of Twilio. But we don't care about all that kind of stuff. It's fine. So yeah, we use Pusher as this third-party holding to connect the back end to the front end. So the WebSocket connection is between my front end and Pusher, and then this is an API call to Pusher to trigger the event. It's really elegant, actually. So if we run this code, what I would expect to happen is my front end to update with a list of people we just created in the seeder without me needing to refresh the page, right? That's what we're looking to do here. So we dispatch the event. I'm going to do something cool. We've done the cool thing, and there's our front end updated via the WebSockets, which I think is really cool. It would be nice if we could do it without Pusher involved, but there is an open source package by Beyond Code, by Marcel's company, that allows us to replace Pusher. Not that I have any problem with Pusher. It's working well because it's got this wonderful dashboard that allows us to see the events coming in, and it just works. And as I said on Tuesday, I'm kind of trying to use this to replace. I'm trying to use this to replace Twilio Sync, because setting up Twilio Sync is a pain in the ass. Plus, I end up doing a ton of stuff in the JavaScript that I want to be able to do in the PHP because I'm a PHP developer. And moving stuff to the back end is like always my preference. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create an application where I can update loads of stuff in the PHP. I can run stuff on a cron job that marshals data from different places. I can respond to webhooks that are coming in from Twilio or from YouTube, or from when I get a new email using SendGrid. I can marshal all this data into one place and then send events to the front end and just say, this is what you should render. And the front end should just be this really simple. I'm using React, but it can be any, like absolutely any front end you want. And it should just be this really simple thing. The most complicated thing here is saying, oh, can you bind to this event and update the state when we get a message from the back end? But this is really, really simple sort of JavaScript, right? This stuff is not complicated. This is just the state management. And then essentially this is the rendering. And I just like to be able to do that. And I'll give you a quick glimpse of the app that I'm trying to replace with this, right? So if we go to a new tab and then go to Lifey. So this is the app that I'm trying to npm. So this is just a React app. Run start. npm run start. How you doing? Well, 284. Nice to see you. Everything all right? Everything all right? I hope so. Oh, I've opened this in Opera GX because, of course, I have. I don't want Opera. I am very much enjoying Opera GX, even though I think it's just a wrapper around. I think it's just a wrapper around a Chromium browser, right? Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Yeah, I agree. So this is a these YouTube videos you get updated via a webhook, and you can see I haven't finished rendering this stuff, rendering this correctly yet. This is what I want to build. Like I'd really like to build a way to manage my life from a single web page that has columns, as crazy as that sounds. And you can see, right, this is using Firebase as the back end, but I'd like to replace that with MySQL or Postgres and just make it a traditional Laravel app. The reason I was using Firebase is because you get the update in the front end for free with the Firebase JavaScript SDK, so I was testing that out. So you can see if I do artisan refresh news, I believe, then this is going to pull the news from the BBC's RSS newsfeed and shove it into Firebase, and then Firebase generates the events in the front end to make this all render out, right? So essentially what I want to do is rebuild this, but build it in Laravel with broadcasting and pusher, and just to see how it compares. This is a relatively like nice and clean app, I would say. This is, this using Firebase is not a problem. Absolutely far from it. It's just, again, I've got more complicated JavaScript, I think, than I need. I don't really know why I'm taking Firebase out of this. Well, I do know. It's because what I'm actually trying to do here is do enough research for a talk so that I can write the talk on updating your front end from your back end in PHP and give people options on whether they could use Firebase, Twilio Sync, whether they should use Laravel with broadcasting and pusher or not, whether they should use CouchDB and PouchDB. I'm doing some research on like what's my favorite way to do it and what some other options are. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. Anyway, I've waffled on for 13 minutes, which is definitely long enough. Decided to go back to my original Twitch username. I was thinking that your username was slightly different Tuesday, was it not? Wasn't it like your full name on Tuesday? Feel like it was. Confusing. Yeah, it was. Awesome. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So what I'd like to do today is to replicate this front end in Laravel Broadcasting. I don't know what we're going to call it. Let's just call it raw Laravel, whatever. In Pusher, the Pusher system. Just to see how easy it is. Now, I don't know if we're better off. Now I have to think. I don't know. So what I'm trying to figure out now is whether I start a brand new project and then, like, add React to it. Because, like, if anyone's here on Tuesday, we ended up with this awful hybrid of React and non-React. No, I think this front end would probably work, right? This app would probably work where we just make it real rather than have to start from scratch. We just pull all the data in from here. And then we can copy stuff across from the other backend that was using Firebase, right? And change it to user databases. Does that sound like a plan? Make it work first, make it pretty last. Well, I can't make it pretty last. I have no ability to make it pretty at all. So make it work first. And then, oh, try it and see. Okay. Yeah, I think we should just get code in, really. Because I'll procrastinate for 4 hours otherwise. What have we got here? Let's take a look at what have we got out of this box, right? This is the definite thing we need to do is this is using Bootstrap, which we all agreed on Tuesday is the spawn of Satan and should be definitely removed. I don't really want this. No, this is not Bootstrap. This is the Bootstrap of the PHP app. I love Bootstrap. Sorry, Layla. We're definitely Tailwinds. We're definitely Team Tailwind on this channel. 100%. Definitely Team Tailwind. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, Craig or Mark. I don't know how to like remove Bootstrap and add Tailwind instead. No, Tailwind is my favorite way of doing things. Don't judge me. Sad. There's a shift for it. Awesome. Laravel shift. Is there anything that Laravel doesn't do? Just remove everything that mentions Bootstrap. Yeah, but then I'd end up removing this, which the app wouldn't work. Well, we'll see if there's a shift for it. You may be wrong. We've been wrong before. No, in the JS folder. Oh, okay. There is nothing. Oh, this. No, this is Bootstrap in the JS though. This isn't actually like... This isn't anything to do with Bootstrap. This. Just get rid of this, do you think? Bye. Yeah, that's going to do it, isn't it? Do we have... I've got so many MP... Okay, so that is actually watching. Excuse me. No! I can't even do basic window management in Mac. What absolute help... What hope do I have? CSS. App.css. Yeah, I think we've got Tailwind and Bootstrap working at the moment. For some, I have no idea how that is, because this should work, right? Let's see what this looks like. Let's try it and see. What is going on here? Is this... My throat, sorry. Yeah, that is definite Tailwind, right? No. Is it? No, this is Bootstrap, isn't it? This is Bootstrap. Bootstrap Bill. Yachavi. Although we don't appear to be using that anywhere. Require Bootstrap, but that's the bootstrap.js. Excuse me, my throat's completely playing up at the wrong moment. This is bizarre. I'll tell you why this has happened. This has happened because we installed a brand new Laravel application, and then it's too loud. We installed a brand new Laravel application, and then we installed Breeze, I believe, which is the authentication layer that we get from Laravel. And then we installed some other random UI that gave us Tailwind. And then we installed another random UI that gave us React. And then everything kind of overwrote each other, and it's just a shambles. And now I've got something stuck in my throat at the worst possible time. So This is the Webpack mix. Isn't there a Laravel layer on top of Webpack? Isn't there mix? That's what I wanted. Mix this. Yeah, but it's not. What I'm really confused about, if I'm honest here, Mark, is why the Bootstrap stuff is working. If that makes any sense, because we shouldn't have Bootstrap installed, right? So why is it even? Yeah, it's loaded Bootstrap in the app.css, in the compiled app.css, even though it's not there. Aha! But I thought that Mix would take the app.css and generate this for us. I didn't think that we needed to do this ourselves. Am I really missing the... Do you have Mixwatch running? I believe I do, yes. You need to tell Mix about Tailwind. But isn't that what I was doing here? No. Oh, I'm so freaking... This ecosystem confuses the living shit out of me sometimes. It's because I only work with it every pissing few weeks and then I forget everything I learned the last time and then... Am I supposed to be updating the SAS files? You can do this yourself. Sorry. Yeah, I apologize. I coughed again. No. Okay, you can do this yourself. You can use chat codes to do this. So do exclamation C. Exclamation C. Do this. Exclamation C and then the line number, let's say 17. And then paste your code in there. And it'll whack it into my ID so I don't have to copy it and paste it from chat. Do. Who ate my face cake? Hello. Hello, who ate my face cake? I'm assuming you're doing this, Mark, and Rail2, sorry, and not just letting me sit here. There we go, thank you. Get in chat to do my work for me. This is what I love. Okay. So do I replace line mix webpack mix.js mix this here, this, then here remove in 16 here. How's that look? Do we still want the sassiness? I'm imagining we maybe don't need the sassiness, right? Because that's loading in our bootstrap. No. No, we don't want it, or no, we do want it. Let's pretend no, we don't want it. Let's try that. Try it and see. So it's compiled, right? It's compiled. And it's still using this. Definitely compiled. I want to check that. I want to just check that it did compile. Why do I need to restart the compiler? That seems... Okay, cool. So now we no longer have... we have Tailwind in. Awesome. Google, piss off. Awesome. We've got Tailwind working. That... My language has been terrible today. I think it's because Layla codes it is here. And she always brings out the worst in my language. So we can log in. I don't care about this login page looking crappy. Awesome. Now we can Go to, we don't need this. This is good. This is good because now I can make this look right. I don't want any of this crap anyway. So let's go to the blade app.blade.php. Now we're cooking. We are indeed cooking. I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want, I want to, it's not app.blade.php. Is it dashboard.blade? Yeah. I don't want to use this layout anymore. Thank you. I don't care about the layout. I just want this to be, there we go, perfect. And then we can just like build this to look what we want. We don't care about that. We just got a div that, now we've just got a div that is our actual JavaScript and we can like make this look good. Awesome. This still should work though if I trigger the event, right? Hooray for removing Bootstrap. Sorry, Layla. No, we're cooking. We are indeed cooking. So this should still add an li, like an unstyled li to the... I broke something. What did I break? What did size breaks? I'm guessing that the event got to here, right? 11:26:46. Yep. It didn't. I'm imagining what's happened here is that this app.js isn't getting run. Should be. I've done something. I've broked something. What have I broked? You removed app layout from dashboard. Does that matter though? It can't render anything. It should be able to render it though. You removed app layout. Oh, the JS is pulled into the layout. Of course it is. Idiot. Of course it is. If I look at the the layout here, which is this, then the JS is pulled in. Wah, 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 wah. Fair enough. So we need to use this layout. I can just get rid of the school by error. Yep, I am a school by and this is a school by error. I just didn't want this stupid layout. See, this is what we did yesterday to fix the problem where I had, this is the problem on Tuesday where I had like some of my Laravel Blade templates using the old yield format and some using the old, the new component based format. So we'll fix that at some point too, but I don't care about the login stuff at the moment. So I do need to use that template, right? X app layout. Is that what I do to use the template now? Is that enough? Do we just... So this should work now, right? It does work. Awesome. I really think this is quite an elegant way of doing things, and I don't know why. I don't know why I prefer this to the Firebase thing, because I essentially get exactly the same... I essentially get exactly the same system using the Firebase way to do it, and it's hosted up in the clouds, and I don't have to worry about anything. I just feel like this is kind of a cool way to work. I don't know why I prefer this. I don't know why I prefer this to the working system we had before. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do, I'm going to copy pasta stuff, and you're probably all going to hate me for that. Why haven't I got lifey back added here? This should have the back end attached to this project. Lifey back, this one. Attach it to this project, please. Attach. Yeah, it already exists, yet you're not showing it. Why isn't it? It's saying it already exists and it's not showing it. What's going on? I've had really, really, really weird bugs in this version of PHP Storm. Fine, we'll just have it open in a different project. Who cares? Okay, so we've got blah, 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 blah. App. Hello? Oh, is it just indexing still? I'm getting really weird weirdness from PHP Storm 2020.6 or 2021.3. Really, really weird stuff. Console commands. So let's copy empty news command and update news command to the other project. I'm not really finding it slow, real to necessarily. I'm finding it weird. Should be able to paste these in here, right? I don't think I need to actually update anything if I named them correctly and they're the same version of Laravel. This is going to break. Okay, next. So what I want to do, right? This is really scrappy code that I wrote off stream. It just pulls in the latest news from BBC News and adds it to the Firestore, right? So all we want to do is update this to add it to the database instead of adding it to the Firestore, which should be relatively easy with... Oh yeah, I installed Laravel IDEA, Craigs. Yeah. So say I want to create a new model now. I can do that using Laravel IDEA. I have not touched it. I literally just installed it before the stream so that you could tell me exactly what I was doing. And as you see, I am quite excited about that now, which is awesome. But I don't know what I'm doing with it. So yeah. I don't even know how to use it. Do I say Laravel IDEA? Is it like... Command Shift comma model. Oh, look at this. So I want to call this a news item. I don't want a controller. I don't want a seeder. I do want a migration. I don't know what a policy is. I don't know what a policy is, but we'll do that. And that just does that just do a PHP artisan make model news dash M? Is that what it's doing and the scenes? Because I'm all for that. Okay. So let's take a look. What we want to do here is noise. We don't have a Firestore client anymore. Let's get rid of that. In fact, we probably don't even need a constructor anymore. And then I'm just going to look at the kind of data that we've got here. I'm going to copy pasta this into the migration for now as just like comment it out so that I can see what kind of stuff we need. So we need a string called title. And that can't be null. It's not null by default, isn't it? Table text maybe for the description. That can be null. And then shout if I do anything really stupid here, by the way. The URL shall just string URL. That can't be null either. And the date. Is there a Laravel way to store a date? Date time? Is it just... Yeah, I guess we can just do that. I'm not set on calling it date, by the way. If that's going to... I know that causes clashes sometimes in MySQL, but whatever. We'll definitely run with it. And then read is a boolean to say, have we read the... Can I give it a default? default? Yeah. False. Okay, that looks okay. Publish that. Does it... Blah, 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 blah. Published. I'm gonna try using date, and I'm gonna be happy to accept the fact that we already get the created at and updated at columns with this, right? With the timestamps, Dubry. Hey, Farky. So, yeah, I think it was scrolled off the bottom. Farky. So it's fine. This is the date that we get from the BBC's thing, basically. So, now, next up, we want to run that migration. Can I, like, run migrate from here? Oh, that's disappointing. Whoa. I can't? Okay. Well, they have definitely done a half-assed job on that. Oh, yes. Okay, I've copied in. I need to... I forget that Laravel does this. It, like, validates everything in the... everything. It essentially validates everything, right? When you try and run stuff. So you have to, like, make your PHP parse. I guess parse is a bad word because it's parses, but you need to make your PHP work. Before you can run your artisan commands. Does that make sense? I think people know what I'm talking about. There we go. So now, empty news command we don't need to worry about for the time being. Update news command we do. So update news command loads in this XML from this URL, which is the news XML. And what it was essentially doing is update or create. There's a better term for that, right? Than update or create. There's like whatever that is. So but essentially this was either creating a new document in the Firestore, or it was overwriting the existing document, so I didn't have to worry about, like, if this exists. If this doesn't exist in the Firestore, then yakety schmackety. So yeah, I should just be able to, like, rename this, add feed item to database. Yes, I want. Well, this should work, right? I shouldn't need to update anything there. It's already saying it's 8. It's already saying it's 8. Is this because PHP Stomp doesn't actually... In fact, I'm using 8.1, so let's do that. There we go. Okay, so it should be returning an array. Fair enough. Oh, doesn't respect custom stubs, because you can create your own stubs for migrations, right? So that's pretty bad. I'm okay with it at the moment, but... Okay. So what is this doing? It loads this in, and then it adds the feed item to the database, and then it outputs add. So if we just return an array here, this should run now, right? Artisan, refresh, news. And it should just pull this in and not add anything to the database, right? But it is... Essentially, it's parsing, which is good. So, here we want to create... So now we just want to use news. Can I do this? Can't I use news as an accessor using Eloquent to, like, find or make, create or something? Isn't that a way I can use it? Or do I need to do DB table? I forget these things all the time, so please bail me out. Essentially, I want to do this, but I thought there was a more elegant way of doing it. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. It's because I don't have the Laravel IDE helper, right? That's what it is. I don't have that Laravel IDE helper thing enabled that gives me... I was hoping IDEA, the paid thing, would give me that, but this is the bomb, isn't it? This is the greatest thing ever written. I should throw some... You don't need that. Surely I need that, don't I, to get the code completion on the model? Don't I? I don't get code completion on my model here, but I bet if I enable that, then... I bet if I do this, it works. Run the generators for Laravel IDEA. Okay, let's cancel this then. Generate eloquent helper code. Fetch data from migrations. Create collection proxy helper classes. Remove PHP docs from model classes. Yes. No. Okay. I don't want PHP docs. There's no need for them with well typed. Create collection proxy helper classes. Don't know what that does. Try it and see. Hasn't helped. Is it because I haven't imported it? News, find, or new? Woohoo! Okay. Is it find or new I want? I don't know what I'm doing. ID. I don't know the ID. I wanted to find on new where... Right, let's do this for a second. Yeah. Let's do this for a sec. I forget how I identify... Oh no, cancel. You're nailing it today, Craig. Thank you. Thank you for your help. I'm really, really grateful. So we've got the title, the description, the link, the GUI ID, and the pub date. What I was doing was I was MD5 in the GUI ID to give myself a unique... uniqueness. But that was only because Firebase didn't use dashes. Like, I could totally use the link as the unique identifier here, right? It's like the link is going to be unique. It's got to be unique, right? Yeah, the link has got to be unique. Let's use the link as the identifier. We have the link in our model. Oh, I should have actually told it to create the... What's this? Oh, I should have told it... Yeah, the URL. Okay, so we'll use the URL. I should have told it to add the doc blocks. Never mind. Okay, so... But it's asking for an ID, which is mixed. And I don't know the ID. And then it's saying columns. Okay, so the ID is the... Okay, I know. I understand. I'm slow today. I get it. I understand. The ID is the item URL. This. That is the ID, and the column name is URL, right? News. news record. So that should be empty because it doesn't exist. But it runs. We should write tests to this. And then we say news record title equals this. News record description equals this. We have to do the string casting because stupid simple XML in PHP. It's not stupid. It's fine. It just first or new instead. Oh, yes. I love it when we've got chat codes back. I actually managed to recompile it. What's the difference, Craig? Apart from it breaking, attributes equals array, values equals array. So now I do URL, this. Does that look better? So it'll either return the first one it finds, if there's multiples, you know, which turns it into a where. Okay, and we need to make sure that we like have a in real life, what we would want to do is in the migration, we'd want to make sure that we have like an index on this because we're going to be searching on it, but we can figure that out later. It's fine. Record description, news record did. Now, I would like to cast this to a timestamp. Attributes equals array, values equals array. See, by the actual, I appreciate your interactions, but by the actual, like, type hints, not type hints, by the comments, the parameter comments, it feels like my way is right. I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to try it and see if that's okay. Just to see if it works both ways. Because I feel like otherwise I should put a pull request into the docs. Values are your new model attributes. I'm going to read the docs on this. Not because I disbelieve you. The opposite. I'm just very interested in... I'm very interested in how this works and what it does. If that's okay. First or new is the name of it, right? First or new, yeah. Oh. Am I even in Laravel 8? First new methods are really useful for finding the first model that matches some constraints or making a new one if there isn't one that matches those constraints. You can take a piece of code that looks like this, user where email blah blah, and turn it into this. First or new, email equals request email. You may also pass an array of additional attributes to set as the second parameter if no existing model is found. Oh, so I could essentially... Okay. Okay. Thank you. So what I could actually do here is, like, remove this and put it in as the second parameter here. Get it. I got it. I mean, I don't know why I'd want to do that. I feel like this is more verbose. What does Laravel store date times as? Is it a carbon? Do I do a carbon? Create from string? Is it? Am I even on the right lines here? Where's my... Carbon pars. See, I was hoping... I don't want to have to put the format in. Excuse my belching, by the way. I'm sorry. I've got this terrible stomach problem. Because, like, string to time will handle that without me having to do anything. So laziness in me. Look, string to time will actually work here. So can I just do carbon from string, from timestamp? I mean, that's probably terrible PHP and I'm a bad person. But, you know, whatever. We can try it and see. It's fine. I can't be bothered to figure out the format of this and put it all in. And I just lazy man. I cannot be done with create. Who wants to like figure out what this is in a freaking PHP date time format? And try it and see. I agree. Let's do that. I know this worked in the past. Pars would know the format automatically, I reckon. Should we just try Pars and see then? Or should we try it and see on my monstrosity here? Let's try it and see on Pars. It's fine. Try and see yours. Okay. Awesome. And then I don't need to say red, but I will. This is the... If I update red here, and red should be red, I mean not like red, I mean red, have you read it? Should be news record red if it exists, which it will do because it always exists. Unless it's true. I don't know what I'm doing. If I don't update this, it'll just keep the set of what it is. Let's just try that and see. Right, apologies. I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself. Okay, and then we just do news record save. I reckon we can get rid of this because CS was correct. And then why am I returning an array here? How am I handling that? I'm not. I shouldn't be returning an array. I should be returning the ID. I should be returning news record ID, right? For some reason. I hate this. Hate it. I can't pass in... The reason that this is saying I can pass in a simple XML element, a boolean or a null is because that's what you get when you load in simple XML load file. But if this is passing in a boolean or a null, I want it to error. Like, I'm fine with locking down this to saying I can only handle simple XML elements. I can't handle anything else. It's like, if it's a null here, then my iteration code up here is causing problems, right? So that's fine. I'm okay with that. And then this should be self-success because I much prefer that. And we're not doing anything with the ID. So let's say ID just to do something with it. And then let's try it and see. It busted. It busted. Add URL to fillable property to allow mass assignment. Oh, is mass assignment count when I'm doing it? Okay. I'm not really doing mass assignment here, though. I suppose I am. I suppose I am doing mass assignment. I suppose I am. Hi, feelers. How are you? This fine. Yeah, my model. I know what this is to stop me being able to... Is to stop people being able to do mass assignment without me specifying it, right? URL is... I need to put them all in here, right? Title is mass assignable. Description is... URL is... date is mass assignable. Okay, that should work now. There we go. So now we have a database full of stuff. And this is the testy bit here, right? What are the social distance? No, that's depressing. It's all coronavirus news. Let's find something like a little bit lighter. It's all coronavirus. All coronavirus, COVID, coronavirus, ashes. Okay, the ashes is 35, right? If I run this again, because we're using find or first or find, it should just update these, right? Am I correct? So that ashes one should still be 35. Yes. Awesome. Never empty guarded. Don't tell me what to do. Like, don't tell me what to do. Okay. What are you saying? That I should never allow ID to be set by mass assignment? That's fighting talk. No, I think that's sensible. I would imagine this. I would imagine trying and see with some glasses. So like guarded ID would be a really cool thing to have in the parent class, right? Apparently not. That would have been really sweet. By default, guarded is everything. Oh, okay. So then in which case, if I'm not making it fillable, then it is going to be guarded, right? Oh, it's you getting shouted at for suggesting guarded should be nothing because you're a bad person. You are a bad person. I'm also a bad person, so I'm not judging you. I'm just stating facts here, real to. You are a bad person. And I just accidentally got rid of my chat like a noob. Oh, by the way, Felix, chat codes is up and running. I recompiled it this morning. So feel free to spam my ID. Okay, so we now have a... What are we doing? What are we even doing here? We have a database which now has... we have a database that has news items in it. So now what we want to do, I would guess, is go to web.php, and then in the dashboard route, we want to create a controller, I would imagine, for the dashboard now. Because like the first time you load the page, you should be grabbing the stuff from the database, and then when things are up and chucking it in the state. I'm thinking as I'm speaking, which never works well. Yeah, it's Laravel 8, yeah. No, I think we should have an endpoint that gets the... I think we should have an endpoint that gets the initial state that we hit when we first compile, and then future updates to state come from events. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me, probably doesn't make sense to you. I'm probably talking complete shit. But if it makes sense. So what I'm thinking of is, right, we go... Because what we could do, right, we could pass the initial state into the model as JSON or whatevs. Right? We could do that. And that, I really hate that. I hate that. And then the other way we could do it is, the other way that we could do it is we could, I'll fix that now, Felix. I'm thinking and speaking, and it's been a long time since I've done it. The other way we could do it is in the component did mount of React hit a API endpoint to get default state, which I much prefer because I hate passing data from PHP to JavaScript in the Blade system. Like the Blade system should just be rendering the layout and that crap, and then we should be using React for everything. So I'm going to do that. I've got my own answer to my own problem. This, I can use what? View, did you say? If my memory serves me correctly, then it's that. And I'm sure somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. Am I even in the right app here? Yeah, that should have not broken anything. Awesome. Oh, yeah, thank you. Thanks. Saves me typing the code in. I'm going to put it underneath. Yep, fine. And then we want to do the same thing. Then I want to create... Okay, let's do this. Boop. Controller. I want to create a... Do I want... Yes, I do. Initial state controller. Oh, I don't need to put controller on the end. I assume that's what this means. It's going to add the end. Single action controller. So it's invocable. There we go. Beautiful. Wonderful. And this should return a JSON view. JSON, I can't remember the name of it. JSON response. JSON response. JSON response. JSON. I had it. JSON response. Awesome. And that should return news. At the moment, we only have one state, which is fine. So it should return news all. No, return new JSON response. News all. Does this return an array? Does JSON response take an object? That's my question. It takes a mixed. Of course it takes a mixed. Will it serialize an array of will JSON response handle the result of eloquence all? I guess it will, right? We're full Laravel at the moment, right? We have gone. It's a collection, yeah, okay, but we have gone full Laravel, right? So the JSON response should know how to handle the result, the collection that responds from news all. Surely it should. You're right, we should try it and see. Root get dashboard initial state. Is that a terrible root initial state? Is that a terrible root name or is that acceptable? Is that a terrible URL? Whatever. And then we want initial state controller class. And we want to add to the middleware auth because we want you to be authenticated before you can hit that. Does that make sense? Does that look good? Have I failed miserably? I think this looks okay. So let's try it and see. Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So I should be able to hit this endpoint now and get a JSON blob out, right? Yay! Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. And then we go back to the React, which we definitely should rename the example from being example to something better. And then we say the first thing we want to do is fetch, I think it's fetch, dashboard, initial. And then we want a function with the response. No. Now update news to add a to array. Why? Better example, got it. I can't remember how to use fetch from here. Is it then? Oh, this is async stuff. This is why I hate We're not returning all the craft. Were we returning all the craft before? I didn't notice. I'll take a look now. I'm trying to remember how to use fetch. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, because this isn't doing that, right? Yeah, it is a then. That's fine. I thought it was. I'm so bad at JavaScript promises. If anyone's good at JavaScript promises and wants to give me lessons, then please help me. Let's console.log response here to check that this is running. This should be okay, right? Oh, this is the pusher stuff that's cross-origin. Yeah, it's fine. So we can say there's a way to convert this to JSON. I don't know how to do it though. I don't know how to do it, so I mean, it's in the React docs. If I could be bothered to look at the React docs, then we'd be. Oh yeah, it's because this is a promise too. Promises are nested JavaScript hell. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Thank you. Yes. 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 This is what I was trying to get to, Craig Simps. This is exactly where I was trying to get to, and I couldn't, and now I can. Look, be honest, right? Do you think I was slowly but surely getting to that, or do you think that I was failing miserably? You can be completely honest. You can be totally honest. I felt like I was slowly but surely getting there, but I do appreciate it. Okay, then what we want to do is say data equals this set state. Data equals data. I'd have got that. You're nice. You're good to me. Thank you. So this is going to do nothing of value at all, except for trigger this terrible rendering down here that we're going to fix in a second. It is going to say that we now have this data in the component, right? Let's get rid of this crap. Don't want that. So yeah, in the example component now, we've got the data in the state. So then, data is the same as data. Is it really? Kekeman, welcome to the chat and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. I love to learn these new things, so we're winning. So, is it because they're exactly the same name? Is it like in this instance, because the callback isn't called data, then I need it to say data because this is the key name. But because the key and the variable names are the same, then I don't need to do that. Awesome. Thank you very much. So this should have changed nothing. Look at that. Loving it. Actually, what we should do now that you've told me that is call this news, though. Because we're going to have multiple different types of data, right? Yeah, and then we need to set that in the default state here. I'm getting there. And then we're going to change this channel name to be something actually Lifey was the name of the stupid name I was calling this product. So we'll call the channel Lifey. I guess we should call the channel Lifey and then the ID of the user that's logged in for privateness later on, but we can fix that later. Who cares? And the event we want to trigger on is news. What? Line 23. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can see new peeps. You can see Felix Pinares using my chat codes plugin that allows chat to interact with my IDE directly, which is pretty cool. News was updated is the event that we want to. News was updated is the event that we really want to trigger on. I think we don't have that event yet. But I feel like this should work now. Anyone? I mean, we need to fix this so that it renders correctly. It's a pain in the... I was going to say a pain in the balls. That's terrible. It's a pain in the ass. Let's be more inclusive. Because I have to copy and paste all the piss and CSS and shit from this. My language is terrible today. Why is that? Sorry. I'm sorry. My language is woeful. I mean, we can copy pasta this, right? Is this using a layout? It's not. Excuse me. I'm in a state, aren't I? Let's be honest. I am in a state today. I'm not doing my best. I'm not living my best life. App. Yeah, let's just do this. Who gives a shite? Who gives a damn? This can all go to hell. And yes, we should be using props and passing this down in models, down to components, using props, and we should be doing all the other good stuff, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna go boop. We don't need that. I just want the styles from the other app to be there. I'd also like to get rid of the layout. Can I get rid of the... I don't want to use the layout, but I do want to use... Do I just create a new layout that doesn't have the log out and all that nonsense in it? Is that what I do here? Just copy pasta the layout, call it something different. And then copy pasta that to no nav. And then say, this is all fine, don't care about the font. Oh, I guess we leave the font there. And then I want all this nav bar crap to be gone. Go. And I want this to be gone. Go. That should work, right? That should work. It's a pain in the IDE. It is a pain in the IDE. And now if we go to the dashboard.blade.php and tell it to use the no nav layout. Yeah? Will that work? Do we try it and see? It doesn't work. I know. Okay, so it's not magic then. It's not magic. I thought it was magic. Do I have to tell it here somewhere the name of the... Cheers, Sargath666. Cheers to you. Do I have to tell it the name of this? I thought it would infer the... I thought it would infer the name from the file name. But maybe I'm wrong. X layout no nav. Why did it work that way then? Do you think I should read the docs about this, and actually understand what I'm doing? That works. And I assumed that this app here was the app part of app.blade.php. I don't know what I'm doing. The other is a class component. Oh. I believe you, by the way, Felix, because I always believe you. I'm just wondering if I should read the docs to figure out. That's scary. Oh, okay. I'll get my coat. Let's read the docs. Let's read the docs. We're allowed to read the docs. We are allowed to read the docs. You couldn't find any results for layouts. Surely you should. Okay. Most web applications maintain the same general layout across various pages. It would be incredibly cumbersome and hard to maintain an application if you had blah 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 blah. Thankfully, it's convenient to find this layout as a single blade component and then use it throughout our application. For example, imagine we are building a to-do list. Well, we kind of are, actually, but that's fine. We might define a layout component that looks like this. Resources, views, components, layout, upload, PHP. It's in views, components, layout, upload, PHP. Yeah? And we've got ours in layouts. Views, resources, views, components. This is the problem, right? I feel. How do we feel? It was in the wrong place? Still can't. Oh, it doesn't need to be layouts now, I would imagine, right? It needs to be... Oh, what the hell? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Read the docs. X layout. Because it's in... So it should just be X no nav, right? Oh, but I... thank you, Rail2. Thank you. So it's... Right, okay. Can I ask a genuine question here? What this is doing, right, is instead of using this built-in... instead of using this built-in layout system that came with a Laravel 7, where the layout is like a first-class citizen and there's all these custom blade directives that deal with layouts, Laravel 8 is saying you can do it that way, or you can just... Why bother when you can have nested components anyway? So just use your components as your layout. Is that what's happened here? It's like, there's no point in having this first-class citizen layout shit that we use to, like, define layouts when you could just be using components for this. So just use components. I guess they've, like, added some magic under the hood for this slot thing. So you don't actually have to worry about defining the variables in a layout component, because slot is this magical thing that just works, I guess. Anyway, it works. It's fine. Stop. Why is this? Main class padding Y4. I don't want main to have padding Y4. How dare you? How dare you have padding Y4? Main has got padding Y4. Where's main? In my... Oh, here. Get out of it! Padding Y4. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we can go to the other bits. Craig Simps, I saw that. Column. And then we can say... Essentially, we can pull this. These are getting sent down as props, but we can just pull it from state, right? It's added these to the other files that are open as well. Oh, I've got chat codes open in this project as well. Okay. Idiot. Shouldn't have had chat codes open in two places. Okay, we need this. I know I'm putting all this into example, but if this works, I will make it look better. I promise. No. We need that. So we've got this function. This is just the cheeky function that calculates the time difference. I almost certainly should move this to a different file so it's not part of the freaking... So it's not part of the stupid class like that, but who cares? And then if we go back here, we then need the render function to be copied across. So this does exactly what we did yesterday, where it creates a map of items and then renders those items in the... And then it renders those items in the return. So we should be able to replace our render with this. Bam, bam, bam. And then we want to do the old thing that we were doing before, which is if this.state.news is null, return an empty div. So while we're waiting for the HTTP request that we're making here to come back, we're just returning an empty div. Otherwise, we're saying this.state.news.map instead of the props, because we were passing this down before. We don't care about the on-click stuff for the moment because we're not removing anything from the div. We're just rendering it. Item ID, item.data.url. Okay, so this is... We need to remove the URLs because this is part of when we were using Firebase. We needed to call this data bit in between. But in this instance, the items should just have, like, properties, right? I hope this is making sense to you, because it's really not making a lot of sense to me. Channel name. No, we don't need this. We don't need this. Get rid of that. We don't have a channel name. Yeah. Then we do that, and then we get rid of the on-click, because we don't actually want to be able to remove it yet. In fact, we can get rid of the whole X bit. The name is not dynamic at this point, so we can just say BBC News as the name. And then this .state.news.length is the number of items we've got. And I think that might work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. I don't know what Layla was saying, that Tailwind is this long, nonsensical list of things that nobody can understand. Like, I think is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. It's broken. What's broken? Why is it broken? Item.data is not a function. Okay, I didn't remove all my item.datas, did I? Yeah. Laziness rather than... Is this going to give me a timestamp? This is probably going to break. Because I don't know how this is going to come from... I don't know how a carbon time comes in as JSON. We'll take a look now. 9 years ago. Well, it's working, right? This is good enough in the short term. Okay, so it's giving it to us like this. Is there any way that I can convert that en masse to just being a timestamp? Is there a Laravel model way that I can go, I just want you to be a timestamp? Every time I ask for you back, I want you to be a timestamp. Because I feel like there is... Oh, hi! News. I feel like there's like a filter or something you can say. Something. It's like a macro or something. I'm almost certain there's a way that you can do that using Laravel. Without having to like iterate over everything. Let's ask Google. No, Laravel. Return dates as timestamps. What I want to do is every time we return the date, either I want to create a new column that is like a composite column, or I don't really know what I want to do. I just want to get the timestamp without having to iterate over the freaking... I mean, I am getting distracted here. Let's be honest. That's working though. Model. Laravel. Model. Date format. Aha! This is Laravel 5.6, but it's going to give me a clue, right? Casts. Casts. Nobody is chat still there? Like, am I still streaming? Nobody in chat told me it was casts, and normally you lot are brilliant, but yeah, I think most people have just decided to go for lunch and left me here rambling into the void, which is fine. Okay, so I can do... You can individually customize the format of the Eloquent... Okay, let's take a look at this in the actual Laravel doc. Laravel Eloquent casts. Rather than... I think I am just like shouting and screaming into the void now. Pretty sure my stream stopped. But hey, it's fine. I'm doing something. So... I don't know what these things are. An accessor transforms an elegant attribute value when it is accessed. To define an accessor... create a get attribute method on your model where attribute is the Studley case name. Okay, so get date attribute. Fine. And what's a mutator? A mutator transforms an eloquent attribute value when it's set. Okay, so I want an accessor. That's fine, that should work. Will this work with like the nonsense that I've got? I'm going to have to try and see because there's nobody actually watching me, so it's fine. A public function, I guess. Yeah. I can't spell. Accessor get date attribute. What's value mean? Value is the value that comes in from the database, I would guess. And I want to return an integer. Value should be an instance of carbon, right? This is going to break so hard because I'm going to try it and see, but I'm actually like adding in type hints that are almost certainly going to break everything. Try it and see if it works. No, it doesn't. It breaks. String given. It's a string given. So why is... So this doesn't... What is it actually passing in then? Because I thought, like, is this skipping the natural casting? Probably not. Yeah, it's just giving us the date as it goes in. Okay. You could use caster. Yeah, I don't... Thanks, Runul. Yeah, I don't really need to do that because I can just do this. I can just do return string to time value, right? And then I'm getting the value I want in the JavaScript. I was just trying to understand what Laravel does under the hood, if I'm honest. I was kind of half expecting Laravel to automatically cast this into a carbon object for me because it's so handy. But that doesn't, I don't really know what I'm doing. So here we go. This is all working fine now. It's perfect. So now I am hoping that we can run commands that will update the front end here. So let's go to empty news command. So the empty news command should empty the collection of news. So it should just say news truncate. Truncate? Oh, I need to import, right? We want to get rid of all the news. But then we want to so we want to get rid of all the news from the database. But then what we want to do is we want to send a event to the front end to say that the state should be an empty array because there's no news in the database anymore. And we've already set up the front end to handle that by binding it to an echo of the news was updated event. So we should be able to do this now, right? So if we go to our broadcast config, let's check what we've got there. Broadcast. We've got the pusher driver set up. Okay, cool. And if we go to our example, something cool happened command, we just need to create a new event, right? That implements should broadcast and uses dispatchable. That's all we should have to do here. This is so cool. And because I've got Laravel IDE, I should be able to create a new event. And we want to call it news was updated. And it should broadcast. I don't care about this stuff because we know that doesn't matter. Did we call it news was updated? Are we supposed to call it, have event at the end of it? That's okay. I don't care about that at this point. Stop getting distracted. And then we say broadcast on the Lifey channel. Oh, and this is where we are clever, right? Because we can say, we can use public properties to do this, right? So, very good point, Craig Simps. So in the example that we did earlier, right? Yeah, I understood. In the example we did earlier, we just created a public function broadcast with that returns the data. But if we make this a public property, it'll return it automatically. Am I right? I feel like I'm right. I feel like we can do like public news, public collection, nullable collection news. Yeah, I know. It's the type hinting it is. I'm guessing at the type hinting. I feel like I shouldn't really use the type hinting if I'm guessing at it. But on the other hand, like, if I just really want to use the type hinting because I'm a big fan of type hints. Thank you so much for the sub, Craig Simps. That's very kind of you. You get a little elephant next to your name now, which I like. I should be subscribing to you. You've done all the heavy lifting this stream. Come on. Thank you so much. That should work in my mind, right? I think this should work. I know we should be like, try it and see. But I should totally make that the audio for when I press the try it and see button, by the way. But I just feel like this is not, it's too easy. I mean, we may need to, yeah, let's just try it and see. Screw it. So we truncate the news, then we say news was updated event broadcast, right? Forgot I had Prime subs. Oh, well, you know. To be honest, all of your, if you Prime sub to me, then what you get, I give all of the Prime subs to charity. That's what I do. I don't take any money from Prime subs because I'm being paid already to stream. So all of the money goes to charity. Does this look like it would work? I feel like it should work. I feel like we should try it and see. I also feel like I'm putting off the I'm also feel like I'm putting off the trying it and see because I don't know if it'll work and I'm nervous. It's also freezing in this house all of a sudden. Any of the right, before we try it and see, let's procrastinate hard again. Any of the money I make from subscriptions, any of them, oh, look at my head. I've got a, what's going on? Ooh. My lighting's all to pot. Any of the money I make from subscriptions, any of the money I make if you see adverts, any of the money I make from bits goes to either Phil Sturgeon's Growing the Trees charity or Trevelyan Boys and Girls Club, which are a charity I'm involved in. I'm on the committee, a local club that encourages people of all ages to participate in sport. Mainly football, but also other things. So that's what your money goes to. Now I'm going to run this and see what happened. It did something. It didn't work here. First question, did the event get to... It got to Lifey. It got to Pusher. Yeah? Channel, presence. Oh, it's a present. That's okay, that's fine. I know what the error is. It's the wrong channel type. You're right. I thought the same thing. We were using just channel before, right? Did I import the right channel there? Yeah. Agreed. It's still the wrong channel type. Do I need to restart the worker? This was a problem we've had before. Did it work, first of all? No. Do I need to restart the worker? I suspect I do. I suspect I do because I updated the code, right? And I didn't need to restart it before because it was a brand new event. I think I probably needed to restart the worker. Boo! Okay. Well, it's the right channel. And it's a news was an updated event. Okay, so let's look at the echo. Let's look at the JavaScript and see what's happening here. The channel name is correct. In my mind. What were we having when we were looking before? See this? Yeah, that looks similar to what we had, right? Is it because the state doesn't get updated because of the format of the JavaScript? My question is this firing? It's just that the state is getting set to something weird. That's my question. Yeah, I think exactly, right? I think that, okay, this is what I want to do, right? I want to console.log e I just want to see if this event is firing at this stage. I don't want to handle the updating and the, okay, so this is empty again now, but I just want to see if the event is firing, right? And the event is firing. So the event is firing, it's just we're not handling it with the correct format because we've got an object with news, which is what we want to set. So we want to do that, right? I feel. Okay. I think this is correct now. So now what we can do, oh, there's my tweets. Now what we can do is we can go to the other command that we created, update news command. This is already doing the correct thing, but we just want to trigger the event again. No, that was just that didn't count, Craig. That didn't count. Yeah, I'm gonna push some news. So now I can go news was updated, actually. News was updated and broadcast the event, right? And then I can refresh the news. Booze news. And that should trigger the event, and that should update the front end, right? Ha! Damn you, piece of shit. Fucking crap. Why do you not work? Crappy fucking piece of shit. Bastard. We need to add the console.log back into the example to see if the console.log check this working. Yeah, I'm going to try empty. I just wanted to add, I'm going to refresh this because I want to add the console.login to check. By adding the console.login, right, it's allowing me to see that the event is triggered here. It's worked. It worked. It did work. Why didn't it work before? So empty works. Refresh should now work, right? Refresh doesn't work, but empty does work. Is that what we're thinking of here? I feel like is app removed? Is app removed? I do not understand. Empty does this. Update should do the same thing, right? Empty is definitely working. Because if I run empty now, this will go boop. There we go. Perfect. Update is not working for some reason. Is it getting to pusher is a good question that one of you should have asked. One of you should have said, is that getting to pusher? Why didn't one of you say that? So if I refresh the news, we should get an event in pusher. And we're not getting an event in pusher. Am I correct in thinking that? 12:43:14. We're not getting an event in pusher. Okay, cool. So, my guess is... Oh, I'll tell you what we didn't do. We did not restart the worker. Should that make a difference? Should restarting the worker make a difference here? I don't know. That feels like it's so bad if we have to restart the worker every time we do code like this. I mean, we got to try it and see. Like, try restarting the worker, haven't we? We have to. For sure. Failed. Oh, yeah, it's failed. My guess is it's failing on the... My guess is it's failing on this one, right? What's the state of the front end? Empty. Okay. So if we go back here and then refresh, then look at the worker, it failed. It failed and it doesn't get here. Oh, it did get here. No, it didn't get... Did it? Did it? Why? Hello? What's going on? Somebody help me. Clear logs. Yeah, I'm gonna clear logs. I'm gonna refresh news. Then we go here. The event failed. We don't get it here. Okay, something's failing. Awesome. We know what's happening here. I just don't know how to debug this. Because we're not getting any errors here, right? I mean, here. How do I debug this? I wonder if there's a show the event. Is it this, do you think? Is it the type? I bet it's the type. But if I remove the type, it'll be fine. Just remove the type for now. The event is failing, not the command. Construct. Let's try it without the types. Like, I really want to keep adding the types. I bet it's in the event. I bet it's in the log, though. I bet the error's in the logs. Failed. Okay, it's not the type. Add the type back. I bet it's in the logs. Storage, right? Storage, logs. This isn't the right log. Yeah, I just restart. Just empty the log. I get confused otherwise. The data content of this event exceeds the allowed maximum. I see. Yeah, I really wanted to do that. I don't know why that's a problem. So really what we should do is just pass a news was updated event and then load the data from the API. The reason I'm going is because it adds latency. For this app, the latency wouldn't be a problem at all, but for the other apps I've written, like the games, it would be a pain in the ass, wouldn't it? Because what we're doing then is we're adding logic to the front end, which is exactly what I was trying to avoid. Like, I was really trying to avoid adding logic in the JavaScript and adding logic in the back end. Yeah, I think that's a good call, Felix, to add a news added event. But again, I'm adding logic in the front end. And I really wanted the front end to be this really lightweight, like, ignorant app that only... that literally just updated the state from the state update that comes in. Yeah, but okay, I understand what you're saying. Listen to the event, push the item to the dataset on news. Then I have to have a remove news removed event. Then I have to have like a news emptied event. It's like the logic of managing the dataset, because okay, and I'll tell you for why this is going to be a problem, because I'm probably, to be fair, I probably, in my mind, know more about what's happening, right? So when you click on this item and you open it in a new tab, we remove this item from the database. Or actually what we do is we say red equals true and then remove it from the DOM. And so we need to write something that will remove stuff from the DOM and from the state and then sync the state back, and it just becomes messy. You can move the initial load to a function, then call that on an event trigger. That adds more latency again though, doesn't it? It's not going to be a problem, and we should totally do that now. We should totally say news is updated, right? Let's leave this as an event. Let's go to the example and let's say Introduce method. What? Hello? Yes, here. Load news data. Yeah. So this shouldn't break anything. And then we say, okay, if this happens, if news was updated event, just override it. And then if news, no, don't override it. This is what we're saying, stupid idiot. Do this. Load the news data. So if the news was updated, load the news data. This is what you're saying, right? Rail2. So now we get an event, that comes in through the through the ether. Now we don't really want to like return anything. We just want to trigger the update, right? So if we say refresh, if we say queue work, no, not that at all. If we say empty news, it'll work, but it'll have to go and say, oh, the news has been updated. I should go and have a look at what's happening in the back end. Although that's apparently not working. Let's try that again with the refresh. Probably need to reset the worker. How about instead of news updated event, data set updated event, pass in the column that is updated? But I'd like to get this working first. I don't know why this isn't working. It's not making the HTTP request. Probably need to restart the worker, if I'm honest, but let's just do a console.log so that I can check that the data set is being that the event is being triggered. Let's check the work. I bet I need to restart the worker. 100%. Because I updated the event and the data that's held in the event. I'm 90% sure I need to restart the worker. So let's empty the news again. The worker should now pass. We get the event here and it's empty. And then if we do the refresh, it works. Okay. Right, I'm going to rechat now because this actually works. So so the event doesn't pass the data? Yes. How about instead of news updated event, data set updated event, passing the column that's updated, like it. So passing news, which you can then use to update the column. Is it a function call or this method? No, it was the worker stuff. Yeah, I definitely think that we would want to do that as we expand this. So now, what time is it? 1 o'clock. What time do I have my next meeting? Let's check that. Opera GX. I have a meeting today at some point. I have a meeting at 2 o'clock, so we're okay in the short term. I need to eat, though. I don't disagree with what you're saying, Rail 2. This is fine, right? Let me make it clear, right? This is absolutely... Okay, let me show you why this isn't fine anymore. So this is a new ticket, right? So ticket 1, I need to be able to update the front end when the back end changes. I feel like this is fine. It works. It's totally fine, right? Completely fine. I love it. It's It's pretty elegant. The stuff that Felix was talking about how we would expand this to have more columns makes a lot of sense to me. We wouldn't need to be pulling a full data set back. We could just be asking for the new news or the new YouTube videos or the new whatever, because we're triggering events to say which column has been updated. And I feel like in the front end, we could write very generic code that would handle a lot of stuff. So I definitely don't think that's a problem. Next ticket, when I click on one of these, it opens it in a new tab so I can read the news, and it marks it as read in the database so that I never see it in this column again. New ticket, okay? Completely new ticket. So, first thing we want to do is, oh, look at that dweeb. First thing we want to do is reopen my Laravel tab. Sorry, no politics. First thing I want to do is to change this so that it only pulls in the red. The API only shows me the stuff where red equals false, right? Which is really easy because we've got a controller that does that. Now I can just change this from all to where it ticks an array, right? Where red is false, which this should change nothing in my mind. Stop me if I'm wrong. It has, fetch, right? Fetch or something, or get, or something like that. Yeah, there we go. So this is great. Now what I need to do is I need to do an API call to set this to be read in the back end, right? Which is fine. So yeah, I agree. No, I completely agree. It's not an initial state controller anymore. In fact, it's a state controller, I would argue. Because I would envisage that I would build this out where if no parameters are returned, I return a response with all of the state for all of the columns. And if a parameter is set, then I return the state for just the column I've asked. But yeah, I agree with that. It's the state controller now. I agree. And I mean, realistically, we should change this to be state. And then we should change this to be state. Yeah, it's fine. I agree with you, but I don't agree with you enough to change it again, Rail 2. So it's all good. I am trying to get this done in the next 30 minutes because I really, really, really want to eat. So this works fine. And then we need to create another API endpoint where we update a card, where we mark news as read, or we mark state as read, or I don't know what we call that in the short term, but let's just say it's called, my coffee's cold. I don't know. Mark. I'm just going to say, yes, that's fine, Felix. I'm just trying to think of the controller name. What the hell? Mark as read controller. Stop procrastinating. We can change this later. Oh, yeah. Okay. Controller. Mark as read controller. Fine. That'll do. And then, yes, I agree. We would add the column as a parameter here. But in this instance, we're only working with news. So who cares? So we get the URL. What's the... We get the ID. Passed in. Yeah. And then we go to web. And then we create the root, which is a get root, which is dashboard, state. Let's not do column for now. Let's do ID. Yes, it's a get. Ignore it for now. It's fine. It should be a put. It should be a get. It should be a post. I'm rushing. We're going to do it this way. Is it $ID or is it brackets ID? I don't care at the moment. Brackets. Thank you. Thank you. We'll change it to a put or whatever in a sec. That's totally fine. And we could group these as a group of routes so that we can add off to one of them. It's all fine. Hello. Thank you for the raid, Steve Waterman. Thank you. Nice to see you. I'm really doing bad programming at the moment, so you've caught me at a really cool time, but it's all good. It is working. I'm just trying to figure out what the next problem is. What were you writing on stream, Stee? I'm really trying to rush this so I can get some lunch because I'm really hungry. Okay, this is not the best way to do it. I completely agree. But we're saying dashboard state ID markers red, right? So we could pull the ID out of the root here. So if I go back to my controller, then we automatically get the ID in, right? This should work in my mind. Stop me if what I am doing, you don't think it would work. Oh, nice. You're working on the Advent code. I did the Advent code a couple of years ago, and I just find that it puts a bit of pressure on me to get them done. And then you worked on the landing page for your startup. Awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. This should work, right? Chatola. Am I going to have a look at Tarkov when it wipes at the weekend? Yeah, I think, Craig, I'm going to take a look at Icarus first, I think. The first week of the wipe is so intense for me. Like, it makes me want to cry more than usual. So, yes, I'm going to take a look at the new wipe. There's a new map, right? Lighthouse is released, which seems really interesting, but it just scares the willies out of me, that game. So then we want to look at where we've got our anchor here. Anchor. And then we want to say, like, on click. Do I use the capitalization in React? I can never remember. I do. On click is this dot mark as red. And then the item.id should work, I think. Then we can implement this. Yes, we can. Thank you. And then we can do a fetch. If you want to team up and destroy some fools, I'll be on it in the evenings. I would love to team up and destroy some fools. What it would be more likely to happen, though, Craig, is that we would team up and I would spend the entire time cowering like a fool, and you'd have to spend your evenings looking after me. So it would not be the greatest day for you, but, you know, whatever. Dashboard. I've forgotten the URL already. Dashboard, state, and then the ID, and then mark as red. I mean, I should totally be handling the response here, but I'm not going to, because, you know, life's too short at this point, and I really want to eat my food. So this should at least make the HTTP request so that I can see it happening in the console, right? Why is this happening? Well, let's see if it makes the HTTP request at least. It did. It made it about 19 times, though. What the heck? Is it still doing it? It's because I didn't return anything. My JavaScript is so weak. It made 55,000 HTTP requests. You think you need the then to kill it? Do you reckon? Yeah, it's probably my lack of knowledge of stupid promises. They're not stupid. My ability to know what the hell's going on with promises. You're probably correct. Whoa, it's just doing it all over the time without me having clicked on anything. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, I would expect it to be an unexpected thing at the JSON because there's no J. Why is this running constantly? It's like it's a method of the class, right? It's a method of the class. Let's just take this step out for now. I did put on click equals method. I'm 98.4% sure I did that. With the boop boop. Oh, I think let's take a look because I've done this before in the other project. This is a problem I've solved before, so I could totally be copying this. Yeah, this is what we want, right? This dot, then the method then bind the ID to it instead. Let's copy that over because that's definitely what we want. The bind will mean that we can bind the item.id to it, right? As well as this, because we're going to need this in there probably, possibly. No, this should work. That should have worked, actually. Let's see if that actually fixes the problem due to my ignorance, though. It apparently did fix the problem. It's because we were calling the method, I think you're right, Felix, rather than actually binding the parameters we want to pass over to it. So this should work now, in my mind. Yeah, we're getting the one pass through. Is that the right ID? Let's try this and see if we get a, like, 4 pass through or something. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Felix, as usual. Okay, so we've got the ID. So now we just want to, like, delete this from the database and then trigger the event, right? It's so cold here and I'm starving. What's going on? So we want to do news. Delete. Do I need to find first? Do I need to find... Mark it as red. You're right. So I do need to find it. So we'll find our fail, because it should be there, right? That should take the primary key. Can I then just set red? Can I do that? News where so for the newbie doobies, we could add an observer to dispatch the event. That's exactly what I was just thinking, Craig. But I'm not going to get sidetracked into that today. That'll be for tomorrow or Monday. News where ID equals ID update read is it better to do it this way though? Is it better to do it this way so that I get a 404 if the record doesn't exist? That does the update where query. Yeah, I won't. Will I get the 404 then though? Like what? News record equals news find or fail ID. News record red equals true. News record save. Return new JSON response. Like I feel like this is not the worst. Yay. I feel like that's not the worst. I'm totally open for this to be changed in the future, but... Oh, then we need to trigger the event, right? News was updated event broadcast. That should be enough. This is going to show you where the problem is, if this works, yeah? So let's get rid of Christmas parties row, because we've all had enough of The find.fail populates the object. Yeah, but then I'm populating the object, updating the red property to be true, and then saving it. That should work though, right? Using the model rather than using like the SQL notation. Does that make sense? I'm going to try it and see, and you can't stop me. Well, you could stop me. You could just like leave the stream or whatever. So what should happen here is we click on this. It opens in the new tab, and then it gets removed from the DOM, which it did. That totally worked. But this is where I'm going to try and show you why the speed was a concern to me, Rail 2. Because now what I have to do is add logic to remove this from the state. But you are sending 2 queries instead of 1. Do you think I'm going to give a shit about sending 2 queries instead of 1 in a proof of concept app that I'm doing? I wouldn't give a shit sending 2 queries instead of 1 if this was a live project that I was putting into production for a paying customer. Like, I would totally go back and optimize this if the problem ever arose. I would definitely trade this for this, because to me this is completely readable. I'm finding the record, I'm updating the red to be true, and I'm saving it. You can all... Yeah, I love you all. You know I do. It's fine. Fine. Fuckers. Hate you all. You all suck. Every one of you who yeah. I love you all. I'm only teasing you. It's the normal nonsense. I love it. I love it. I love the arguments. Update or fail. It throws. No, it'll throw. We should throw and catch, right? We should throw, and then convert the error to yeah. We should do that. Can you convert that to an array? Can you cast an exception to an array? Let's just return the message. Who cares? Who cares? Right, let's try this and see. Your lack of ligatures on the font is a real concern. Is it like, oh, Gary's hungry, he's been streaming for a couple of hours, he's doing okay, you know, he's got bad guts, it's the end of the week, let's push on the things that we know, let's just push gently on those things that we know will wind him up, is it? Is that what it is? Just a little nudge, just a little whoop, a little tiny nudge to push me over the edge. Fuck ligatures. I hate ligatures. Like, why would you ever want ligatures? You're an oddball if you like ligatures. This should work now, right? Let's see if this works. So we press that button, it opens the tab, but by the time the event is triggered, we've come back because this is terrible, and that doesn't even work. My code worked first time. Let's not forget that. My code just worked perfectly first time. My code was perfect. Your code... It worked with my code. So what happened here is we didn't... Let's try this again, right? Let's refresh to see if we get 65 now. No, so it didn't mark it as red. So let's take a look at what's happening here. So we go to mark as red. The response says call to undefined method, update or fail. So your code is just generally broken. Just broken. Whereas my code is perfect. My code that did two requests. My code that did 2 requests worked perfectly first time. And your code that does 1 request just doesn't work. This Laravel 8 point something. This is what I get. This is what I get for listening to chat. It's a rod for my own back, to be fair. Like, I'll accept the fact that it's a rod for my own back and I should have just backed myself. I'm all good with that. I'm all good with the fact that I should have backed myself here. We all live and we all learn. We all live and we all learn, and that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the beast. But update or fail wouldn't give me the 404 that was like the elegant bit about this. The elegant bit about this is that if I try and run this now, this should work now, right? Because it's my code, not chat's code. So it should just work first time. Totally should just work first time. There we go, works first time. It's, my code is beautiful, your code is all terrible. But if I open this in a new tab, it should 404 now, right? Because it doesn't exist. It doesn't 404 though. Oh, because it does exist. It's just updating it. But if we change that to something that doesn't exist, then we get the 404. Lovely. Beautiful. Love it. Happy. But this is too slow. This is too slow. It's cool, but it's too slow. My hands are freezing. It's 20 past. So then what we end up doing is, like, this isn't necessarily a problem of this version, by the way, because if you look at the one I did using Firebase, let's take a look at this documentation. I need to spend some time on chat codes. Somebody remind me that we need to. I got it working, but there's still so many tickets open. Maybe I'm running a newer version than that. Huh? How do I find out what version of Laravel I'm running? Is it in the composer lock file? Eight 8.7 Yeah. Looks good. I forgot. I got distracted now. Oh, yeah. So then the problem we've got now is that it's too slow. Like, it's really cool that I don't need to do anything. Like, clicking this actually makes the ID update because we send the event back from the ID. It's really cool, but it's too slow. So what we then have to do is this. I had this problem with Firebase too, by the way. I absolutely did. Because if you look, right, in Firebase, we were hitting the ID. Beautiful. And then I was removing the card from the state. By mapping the state and removing the card from the state. So that it was getting removed from the DOM immediately. And then once it gets removed from the DOM immediately, and then we still go into a request to check that out the DOM is in sync with what we think it is from the server. And that brings its own problems. I'm not saying this is perfect. So I don't actually know how to fix that? But, okay, so we can implement this really quickly, right? And this will also bring its own problem to the table. If we go to example.js, and then if we create a new method called remove news from state, and we pass the ID in, and then we say state dot, what was the news, equals this dot state dot news filter, and then we filter it so that we take out the one that's the ID, right? We should be able to, I'm sure we can make that shorter. So now what we can do is on click, we can say, when we want to remove mark as red, we can say remove, what did we say? State. What did I call that method even? Remove news from state first. So we're taking it out of the state, and then we're doing the API request. So this should now mean that it's instant, right? Coming out of the state. No, it didn't, because I've probably got a JavaScript mistake here. Const state equals around the object. Wait, I want to. There's a ba 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 ba. Looks good. I'm not reading chat a second. Sorry, you're still banging on about your worst way of doing things. I'm going to read now. Need to do blah, blah, blah. Yes. So news find or fail, update or fail would still be two queries, but with more verbose errors. Yeah, possibly would give you two exceptions that are different to catch, which makes sense as finding may fail and the update may fail. Yeah. That's fine. I like to know what you're moaning about there, Kat. It's fine. So this is working now, right? Okay, so watch. Pubs may run out of cash as more work from home is now getting removed from the DOM, but then the update is coming, which is not doing anything because the DOM's already in the right state. So then the question is, why the hell do we need to bother with the updating of the DOM in the first place? Because the DOM's correct. Because the JavaScript is doing the logic of keeping the DOM in state. And so what's the point? Exactly, Rail 2. And then, so this is now moving away from exactly what I wanted to achieve. This is exactly what this is moving away from what I wanted to achieve, right? Because I don't want to have to do this in the front end. I want everything to come from the back end. I don't want to have to do this nonsense. If it fails to update the state, then you've removed the item, but it's not read in data. Exactly, Craig. I don't understand what you mean, Felix, but I really don't want to have to. I really don't want to have to implement the removal from state in both the front end and the back end. Like, I really just want to have state managed in one place and not have everything twice. But this is fine because I'm learning. Yeah, I understand that, Felix. I understand that the database could fail, a log file could fill up. I understand that this is not bulletproof. It's not bulletproof, I get it. I get that the states could get out of sync, in which case the database should be the de facto correct way of doing it. But This is a problem that we will now return to Monday, or tomorrow, which is CouchDB PouchDB, which is essentially Firebase but self-hosted. I don't know if that would even be fast enough to make it work though. So this is why I really, really like CouchDB and PouchDB, right? Is because you've got CouchDB, which is a document database that lives somewhere on the internet, self-hosted or in the clouds. Right? And then you've got PouchDB, which is a JavaScript implementation of CouchDB in browser that syncs automatically. And then essentially what you do is from the back end, you update CouchDB, which replicates to PouchDB. So your browser automatically updates because you get that for free. From the front end, you update PouchDB, which replicates to CouchDB, if that makes sense. And you sync, and in the front end, you sync state between React and PouchDB. So I think this may be the more elegant way of doing it. So we're still moving logic to the front end, right? So instead of in our mark as red method, instead of us hitting an API so that the PHP is doing the update, we would use PouchDB to mark the record as red in the front end. What do we think? Is that stupid? Is that okay? I mean, we could use Twilio Sync to do that as well. And then we just go back in a massive circle. Hey Thori, welcome. It's just the latency essentially. It's just the latency. It's not a big deal. It's just the latency. It's just that if I go back here, we've ended up having to duplicate logic, right? So if I remove this, this is working okay. If I click hardship funding request drive, blah, 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 it opens it. And then eventually it removes it from the DOM as the round trip goes, as the event gets triggered from Laravel. And then we send that event through pusher to the front end, and then the front end goes, oh, the news is updated, and then hits the API to pull in a new list of the news. There's this big round trip going on that's too slow. So what we end up doing is removing it from the state in the front end as well, which reduces the latency of the DOM, but then we're implementing logic in two places, which I hate. I really just want... Ultimately, it shouldn't matter because it'll update when you read in the article. Fair point, well made, except for what happens if I don't want to read the article and I just want to press the cross like we've got implemented here? Then it does matter, right? Because I don't necessarily... This is another part of the ticket that you hadn't seen, Felix. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. And I'm going to spring it on you like I always did when we worked together. But the fact is, I'm not going to read all these articles. Some of the articles I'm going to have read already. And some of them I'm just going to be really bored of. And some of them I'm going to be like, I don't really care about the number 10 Christmas party Fallout anymore. So, let's just remove that one. So yeah, I don't disagree with you that realistically, if I was going to read all these, it would work fine. Interesting problems that I got to say, I am honestly really enjoying. It's all about user feedback. Put that thing in a loading state. Yeah, we could definitely do that, Thorny. We could definitely do that. I mean, it wouldn't be the best user experience, but there's, that is a solution. That is a solution. This is a really cool problem space that I'm really, really interested in. So here's a perfect example, right? If this was when we were working last year on stuff to go on my big screen when I'm at my booth, this latency would not be a problem, and this would be a really nice, neat, simple way of creating demos or digital signage, or, for example, if you were creating something to go on your TV that updated when a new user registered for your side project, the latency would not be an issue, and this would be a beautiful, beautiful way of doing that, I think. I think this is so nice. But if we were writing our, Pokemon game that we wrote, Chatimon, would the latency be a problem there? Possibly not. Possibly that wouldn't be an issue either. This definitely has its applications, just not necessarily for what I'm trying to do right now. And so, next stream, we'll take a look at PouchDB and CouchDB and see if that removes the latency issue. Because it's horses for courses, right? Now I'm going to go and eat my lunch. No idea what I'm going to have. But this is so cool. So far, Twilio Sync works brilliantly. Very happy with using it. Has latency issues. Same problem. Works perfectly for some things and not for others. Firebase, which is what this React app is running on, that looks really similar but isn't identical. Firebase works great. Beautiful. Same problems as we've had with Laravel Broadcasting. But I also have to learn how Firebase worked and how the hell we modify Firebase. So half a thumbs down for Firebase, but worked lovely. Twilio Sync, half a thumbs down because the authentication and all that stuff is ball aching to me. Then Pusher and Laravel Broadcasting. So much stuff written in PHP. I love it. The fact that we can't send events. The biggest downside that we found today is that we can't send events to Pusher that contain the full data set. That's the downside for me. That's definitely the downside for me. It's like, if we could send events that contain the full data set, then I would be like, this is what I'm going to use from now on. And maybe there's a way we can fix that even. So yeah, next time, CouchDB and PouchDB. We were getting errors when we tried to push the whole data set. I will show you. The data content of this event exceeds the allowed maximum of 1024 bytes. See Pusher docs. It's a Pusher restriction. They do have another driver, right? While I'm getting distracted. Sorry, I didn't show you that in a method that you could actually read it. $10 KB. They do have another driver though, right? They definitely have another driver. I wonder if the other driver fixes that problem. Ably. If you plan on broadcasting events using Ably, you should use the PHP. See, this could be something we look at. I don't even know what Ably is or who it is. Or it's guaranteed to deliver at scale. So there's that. 3 million monthly messages. Scale up to 10 kilobytes, yeah. 100 peak connections, 100 peak channels. That would be like totally fine. Maximum message size Ably. Roll your own with Beyond Code solution. That is definitely thought. Honestly, if Beyond Code solution doesn't have that restriction, that fixes the problem immediately. It's like, I know they've got a pusher replacement, right? I use my own Go implementation with WebSockets, and I would be very interested in doing raw WebSockets as well. Like, perhaps that's what we should do. Like, can you do that? How do you do that using Laravel? Can you just connect your Laravel app to your front end using WebSockets, like raw, native, without using anything? The default enterprise accounts is 64 kilobytes. Okay. 16 kilobytes for free account size. I mean, it's worth me asking Marcel if the drop-in replacement has the same restrictions. Perhaps I'll do that after stream now. Perhaps I'll do that. 6 more K! Yeah. That hurt my throat. What was the other thing I wanted to check then? Oh, let's take a look at a pusher. I wonder if we can configure the maximum message size. I wonder if that's something that it lets us change, you know. Pusher maximum message size. That's not how you spell size, idiot. Okay. Well, yeah, I wonder. So I'm definitely going to be looking at this again because there's definitely a talk in this somewhere, right? There is I'm really, really interested in the problem space, and I've learned tons over the last 2 days, and I'd like to continue to learn tons. So we'll probably look at this tomorrow. Bowels willing. I might go and have a beer tonight, which maybe there's a rugby match like on down the road. And my friends message me saying, fancy going to watch the rugby and having a beer? And when you've had E. coli, I don't know if having a beer is like the worst thing you can do, or if it's will it be okay? I might go and have a beer, I might not. Either way, I'll probably stream tomorrow and see about this. Laravel WebSockets is called, I think. Flush the system. Yeah, I do that regularly anyway. This should be really simple to try out, right? We'll try it out tomorrow. Because I think this should just be like a literal drop-in replacement where we change some config. As far as I've... PHP ads and guts flash. Don't, man. I'm desperate already. This should just be a drop-in pusher replacement. I read this before I knew how this worked, and it looked really simple. We should definitely do this tomorrow. Let's do that tomorrow. And I'll tweet Marcel and see if he knows if there's a 10k set, 10k limit, or if we can change that. Right, I'm done. I'm definitely done at this point. 100%. It's been too long already. We're definitely getting somewhere, I think. Nobody's live who I follow. I don't know what to do now. What? Is there anyone wants me to raid? Do you know anyone who's live who you also watch? Like, I'm totally open to suggestions. We should definitely Raid and escape from Tarkov. No, we shouldn't. I can't. Whatever. I'm just going to finish up. Thank you very much, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. Ooh. Oh, don't forget to follow me so you get a notification tomorrow when I go live. Make sure you follow me. Like, follow, subscribe, etc. Bye.